feel there must be an easier way to get back to where the microphone is, but I haven't found it yet. Good morning, all of you lovely people, and always lovely to see you on a Monday morning at the start of a week. This yoga class then, we're in the depths of winter, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time working with this sense of water flow within us, water being the element of winter time. Suffice to say then, when the water doesn't flow, it becomes dammed up. If you think about a stream, and if there's lots of debris in the stream, leaves and branches, or just a lot of silt, well, it's not going to flow so smoothly. But you could say our vitality, really, the flow of energy within us, is a bit like that as well. We kind of block up that flow with lots of unhelpful thoughts at times, which just stop us from moving forwards in a smooth fashion. You know, we kind of get caught up in that repetitive cycle of thought or anxiety or whatever it happens to be, or stress. And so things don't flow then so smoothly. So today, the practice will focus on the hips and the lower spine in particular, which is where we house the kidneys, also the organ of wintertime, our kind of battery reserve, as it were. So we're looking to really nourish that and to find this sense of gentle flow and ease and fluidity in how we move. So within that, be careful of your transitions. You know, the point when you're moving in or out of something, and maybe I've gone a little bit ahead and you think, you know, I've got to catch up. Just see if you can still keep the steadiness and contact with your breath in those moments when one becomes a little distracted. And then see then if you can just move as water, the same pace, steady, steady flow without feeling you've got to surge forwards, without feeling you're kind of pulling back a little bit, as it were. We'll see where we go from that. Nice, nourishing and gentle practice. A little bit of hip opening as well. So hands at the heart. And from bringing your hands into prayer, finding a little bit of lift into your elbows. Going to energize ourselves here by taking around 3 to 5 deep rounds of breath. These breaths in and out of nose. Breath that touches the belly. And that fills the whole body, front and back and sides. Hands now resting on the heart, one palm on top of the other. See if you can lift into your spine. Just softening your perception wherever your perception is pulled to. And so from wherever we tend to focus, wherever we tend to focus, we're opening up awareness to those parts of us we may not normally or automatically feel or be aware of. It's like you're opening a few inner gates within you to let your vitality flow into hard to reach areas, hard to touch areas. Hard to touch sensations, so emotions that we may have buried down, painful memories, painful feelings. Letting ourselves be open as our vitality flows through us freely as water. Now from here we're going to bring our fingers into Jnana Mudra, so index finger to thumb. And then we bring the hands now down to rest on the knees, palms up. So now we have more contact with the earth beneath us as we lower our weight earthwards. Just enjoying the simplicity, sitting with your breath, without any pressure, flowing this way or that way, or be, or do. Palms now coming down, releasing that mudra to the knees. And here we'll open the eyes again. And we'll start by taking the neck onto the left-hand side of the shoulder. So you've got this stretch on the right-hand edge. See if you can soften your right shoulder a little bit. It tends to rise up. And just start by taking a few nods of the head forwards and backwards. Try not to adjust too much here. Just let the head nod itself. So you are feeling possibly, though no, I am, a little bit of discomfort and tightness around the neck. Just feeling that there within the body. From a few rounds there, your chin can come over to the right shoulder. And just settle the weight of the skull towards the right. Again, just shrug into the left shoulder. And then the same, nodding forwards and backwards. Yes and no nods with the head. When you've done a few rounds there, take your chin into the throat. With the chin into the throat, round your shoulders now. And as you round your shoulders, draw into your belly, like you're flattening your belly to the spine. Going to lift up through the spine now, hands still on the knees. And so we'll draw the chest forwards and the chin can lift off the throat. Careful on your neck as you drop your shoulders down. You feel a nice little squeeze in the back of the spine. Give yourself a full round of breath or so here. Then into the opposite movement, moving slowly, mindfully. Chin will come to the throat, shoulders roll forwards, belly to the spine. Still encouraging your breath to be full here, relaxed, even though there's probably some compaction around the belly. And then we'll lift up again. Easing the chest forwards, the shoulders drop, and the chin lifts skywards. And arriving back into a neutral position. Now turning your gaze towards your left knee, so it's a bit of twisting through the spine to get there. And then folding down towards the left knee. Go slowly so you still keep that integrity of the twisting action. From here, we're going to take the spine across the front of the body, sweeping it down across the floor until you arrive over facing the right knee. We'll be low here for a few breaths. And then you'll lift the spine up and into sitting again. Just take it back to a neutral position for a moment, so you feel both sit bones anchored down. And then we go the other way. So you're starting with a rotation through the spinal column to the right knee. Pause. And then fold down over the length of the right leg. And from the right leg, you can swing your spine across the front of the body towards the left knee, where you'll pause. And we're lifting up again and coming back to the center line. So we'll just shrug one shoulder up as you drop the other shoulder down. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Do that a few moments, just letting your breath flow naturally as you do so. And then we come back to the center line and we roll both shoulders up and back together. And if you notice there is a bit of shoulder tension, neck tension, mind tension, a couple of out breaths through the mouth will help to just dissipate some of that. Take one more. Knees coming together, and we find our way onto all fours. You're arriving on a tabletop position here. Knees hips width, hands shoulders width. Index finger pointing forward, a little lift up through the lower belly. Now we'll start taking the spine into cat, curving upwards, tucking sit bones under. And then the opposite, tilting sit bones up and chest lowering to the mat. We're going to take a few moments here to find our way into the rhythm of the body and the rhythm of our breath. But still holding focus. So for the next few rounds of breath, really try to, keep your awareness on the breath. Note how your body tends to habitually move with the breath. Then a very gentle guiding of the body. Find synergy with the breath. And we'll start with our awareness at the base of the spine, so the tucking under of the sit bones or tilting up. And we're following that movement, one vertebrae to the next, all the way along the spine and up into the neck. I often find when I'm doing cat and cow, because it's a bit of a habit in itself, isn't it, when you've been doing yoga for quite a while, but you can almost lose your skull in this movement. It's like it often moves first, as it were, and then everything else kind of follows. And then suddenly you think, oh gosh, my skull's already arrived. So the next couple of breaths, going slowly enough so you can kind of just let the skull follow the spine. In a way, is a metaphor, I suppose, for letting the head follow the body. You slow it down if you notice that you're still moving a little too fast to really start to focus inwards. The more we slow down, the easier it is to note things, as it were, to become aware. But also then we start to rest in these deeper currents of the body, under the surface, a bit like a pool of water. And things a bit calmer down there, less rippling, flotsam floating on the surface. We're right back to all fours now, and again we'll just find that little lift up through the lower belly to support the spine. Root down into your left hand now, and with your right arm lift it up skywards. Bit of an all fours twist here. Really stretch up for a couple of breaths. So you give your body a chance to arrive here. And here we're going to thread the needle, but we're going to move in and out of this. So we're going to let this right shoulder hover off the mat as the right arm comes underneath the left. So we breathe out and scoop underneath with the right arm. And the right shoulder will still hover off the mat then as you stretch the right arm out. And then breathe in and lift it up again, back into the twist. Breathe out and we'll do the same, threading the needle. Right shoulder will hover. Take your time. And we come out to do a third round. But then this time, as we thread underneath the left arm, we rest the right shoulder on the mat. And once you're there, you can take your left hand forward and come up onto the fingertips. And you can open your left elbow up towards the sky a little bit. Create some more space to look underneath. Both hips are traveling backwards. They draw both hips back. Then planting left hand down, right hand will follow. And we'll find our way back onto all fours and into a figure of 8 from side to side. In the next round, you may want to take your fingers so they're pointing to the sides of the mat. Keep them wide. Or you may want to swivel them round the whole way. Fingers pointing back towards you for a couple of rounds. Flip the hands round again now. We'll come to do the threading the needle on the left-hand side. So come back to your neutral spine. Again, lift up through the belly. In breath, left arm will lift up. So you're in this side stretch, side twist. On all fours. One more full round of breath. Open up into the base of the body with your breath. And then we'll scoop the left hand underneath the right, left shoulder hovering off the mat again. Find your way to the second round, lifting skywards with the left hand. And then under it comes, excuse me, the second time. Again, hover it off the mat. And one more round. Left hand lifts. And then we'll thread the needle, bringing the left hand underneath the right and dropping down onto the left shoulder. And once you arrive, you can come up onto the fingertips, walk them forwards on the right hand. And your elbow, if it's low, You may want to draw it up to point skywards, just to open up the spine a little bit more. Again, see if you can draw both hips back, creating a bit more space along the spine. Right hand coming down on the next breath, left hand following, and toes tucking under. We'll just hinge backwards towards heels and forwards, coming forwards. You can go forwards as far as you want or as little as you want. Out breath, come back to the heels. And again, drawing forwards. Do that one more round. And then this time, with the toes tucked under, we'll lift the knees a little bit and very slowly ease back and into a bent leg, down dog. Now just anchor here with that bend in the knees to feel the strength of the body, and also to see if you can really find a lengthening out through the spine. We're going to root down into the left hand, and we're going to lift the right arm skywards. Take your time to bring the right hand back down. We're going to do the same on the other side. Keep that bend through the knees here, so you've got strength through the legs. In breath, left arm will lift up. Root down again, left hand to the mat. And now your hips drawing as high as you can. We're going to straighten out through the legs, dropping heels towards the mat. In breath, right leg will lift up. With the right leg stretching up, we then bend the right knee and we open up the right knee up towards the ceiling. So we're turning, twisting the body to look underneath the right armpit. Right foot comes down. And the left leg will follow. A little bend through the left knee to then stretch up into the left leg. With the next breath, we'll bend the left knee. And then we'll take the left knee skywards. So you're taking the body into a kind of twist underneath the left armpit. Left foot coming down. A deep in breath, and both knees can come down to the mat. Out breath, the knees coming wide, and we arrive in a wide leg child. Forehead will drop towards the mat. Maybe the forehead will touch the floor, whilst just letting it hover off the mat for a few breaths. Looking forwards now towards the hands. You just lift your wrists up, and you may want to just bring the fingers over the thumb into a little fist, and we'll just flick the hands open again there. Putting a bit of weight on the hands, and do that a couple of times just to ease that weight, any strain from the fingers or the palm. Maybe one more time. Hands now softly placed on the mat. And taking the spine forwards now, we're looking to keep the pelvis lifted, but the chest will drop. Elbows will come a bit to the sides. Namaskar, the bottom still lifted, knees down, and from there we'll slide down onto the belly. In breath into cobra. Out breath, roll your way back down to the mat. Another in breath, we'll take the hands behind us, the legs will lift. And we're riding into a locust, this time for 2 breaths. Lower back down, from cobra into down dog. And arriving back down, so that's quite heat kind of inducing. We're taking an out breath through the mouth, just to let any of that energy dissipate a little bit and spread through the body. Now lifting your right leg skywards again, maybe a little bend through the left knee. We're now going to bend the right knee and take it in towards the core. We'll still keep the pelvis drawing back though here, rather than coming forwards too much. Want to feel kind of down dog stance. Now take your right knee in a big circle out towards the side of the body and up towards the ceiling. We'll do that one more time. The knee will travel towards the left elbow, over to the right elbow, out to the side, and up towards the ceiling. And once there, you can just pause there and feel that twist into the hips. Anchor down your left foot, straighten out your right leg, and we'll drop the right foot down towards the mat. In breath, knees down or coming forwards into a high plank. All of our knees will now come down, and we'll lower the chest down to the mat. In breath into a cobra. Out breath back to the mat. And 2 breaths into locust, hands coming out behind you and the legs lifting. Hands coming down again. Root down into the feet as you lift into cobra. And from cobra, coming back and into down dog. Breathe in now, and we'll lift the left leg up towards the sky. And with the knee then bent, we'll do the same circling with the left knee. Just keep your pelvis back a little bit as the knee comes over to the right armpit, over to the left, out to the side, keep it bent, and then lift it up skywards. So you're back in this kind of twisting action. One more round. The knee comes towards the right elbow, over to the left. And keeping that bend, we'll lift it skywards. Feel the stretch into the hip. And then we'll straighten out the left leg. And then we'll drop it down to the mat. Breathe in, look forwards, lift the hips up, straighten through the spine. And we'll take the feet up towards the top of the mat. We'll walk them forwards until you arrive in an easy forward fold, a ragdoll forward fold. Lift your hands off the mat. Now catch hold of one wrist, put a bend through the knees and start to roll the spine up. Arms will lift up. And a bit like an elephant trunk and it's spraying water out in front of you. Start to roll back down again. Feel the weight of the body releasing, relaxing. Switch hands now so you're catching hold of the other wrist. Let your arms, like an elephant trunk, lift up as you roll up. And then, the weight of the body, roll forwards into forward fold. Hands will now release and we'll take them in our forward fold up to the lower spine. And there we'll just rest one palm on top of the lower spine. And the other as well. Slide your hands now down the backs of the legs, your bladder channel, over the top of the feet. And then as you slide your hands up the insides of those legs, you can roll up and into standing. And we'll all find our way now, hands just on the groin, and we'll take the hands here into a little fist. And we're just going to tap over the groin into the hips. Just a moment maybe to tap where you kind of know or you're feeling there is a little bit of tension held in the body. Whether it's lower spine, your glutes, hip flexors. Just gentle tapping to just wake up that energy that's feeling a bit stuck, encouraging it to shift. And holding it, storing it within us. One hand will now slide from the right hand side down across the body to the left, from the chest. And we'll do that the other side as well. And then we'll just shake out the arms a little bit. We're going to take the arms up. We're going to shake them up above us. And as we do that, we're just going to bounce on the balls of the feet as well. Come down to chest height. Bit of flapping of the wrists stuck there. Wrists can turn up. The wrists can turn down. Slow down the feet. Keep the hands flapping. And little fists. And we're just going to knock on the heart now. We're going to knock over the chest into our lung points. Pushing flow of energy through the body. And then your fingers, a bit like a filter that's sifting through any debris. Just center our energy with a little bend through the knees, down the front of the body. So you're pushing down any debris to earth. Hands will come down to the belly. An in-breath, hands will float back up to the heart. Your out-breath, fingers like little filters. Sift downwards. Just leaving clear water. Unsullied, undisturbed for energy. Do that one more time. Lifting to the heart, fanning the heart. And out breath. It's like we're pushing anything we don't want to earth. One palm on the belly and the other as well. Diamond shape. And our breath can settle there for a moment. From the belly, lift your hands now up to the heart, and we'll turn the palms down here. We're going to step the feet wide down, out to the sides of the body. And once we're there, we're going to turn the body over towards the right leg. Toes are pointing forward here. And once there, bend your right knee and just push the hands away from you. And back, and over to the left side. Bending your left knee as you push the hands away. And back, center line, over to the right, bending the right knee, push the hands to the right. And coming back to your left side. Coming back to the center line now, we'll rotate the toes so they're pointing down the long edge of the mat. And once there, we're going to lunge forward onto that front knee. Just a moment to find your balance, anchor down to your back leg. Create a bit of space between the legs if you need to. In breath, hands like windscreen wipers will come down. Out breath, hands will come back to the center line. Going to look down your right elbow to the right side here as you do this. Just encouraging our energy to spread through the body here. And then, breathing out, we'll take the arms wide and out into Warrior Two. Now drop down as low as you can in your Warrior Two on this front knee. So you really do feel a sense of stretching across the groin, sense of opening up this inner seam of the leg. Just breathe here, feel the strength through the legs, anchor down the soles of the feet. Front palm will turn up. We come into reverse warrior, front palm lifting up. And then this right arm will come down to rest on the front knee, and the left arm will reach up and over. The same, the other side, on the reverse warrior side. And right arm on the front knee. We're just going to pause here now, resting on that front knee, stretching up into the left hand. Long breaths. And then right hand, either remain on the knee or you may want to slide it down towards the floor, maybe pop it up on a block. Left arm will stretch up and overhead. So it's reaching out to the horizon. Take that left hand down and frame your front foot now. Turn the back foot so it's parallel. Maybe wiggle your toes forward a little bit, and we'll drop the left knee down to the mat. Come up onto the fingertips now, and we're lifting the gaze. Just reach forward through the chest. Feel the stretch through the front of the left thigh. And then we're going to bend the left knee so it's crossing the short edge of the mat. Right hand will come to the big toe edge. And we're just easing forward into that right knee again. So you feel that opening through the seams of the legs again. In breath, left arm will lift up. You may want to take it overhead for the last couple of breaths. And then we'll scoop, left hand down and straighten up through the right leg. So you feel a little bit of a stretch now on the underside of the right leg. Use your hands for balance here. And then framing your front foot, toes tucking under the back foot. We're lifting up and using your core to come up into the high lunge. Arms may want to lift up. We'll then slide the left foot down and arrive back into Warrior Two. Breathe your right arm up as your left arm comes down to the back leg. And then we'll straighten up the front leg. Right hand will come down and you'll rotate your right foot so both feet now are parallel with one another, facing forwards. Breathe in, lift up through the spine, arms lifting up. Breathe out, bend the knees a little bit to soften your forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. Once you arrive in a wide-legged forward fold, you can turn your gaze towards the right shoulder and then rotate the neck over to the left. Do that again. And we'll shift the weight onto the left knee, straightening up through the right leg. Put your hands wherever you need to here so you feel secure in your balance. And then we'll shift the weight over to the right side. So there'll be a bend on the right knee, straightening into the left leg. It's quite an intense opener of the hamstrings and that inner seam of the legs, the kidney channel here, the inside of the leg. So do the same on both sides. Bending left leg. And then taking the weight over to the right side. Hands back to the center line. And taking the hands towards the left foot, we'll then turn the left foot so it's parallel with the long edge of the mat. Anchor down through your right leg. Lift the arms. Take them out to the sides, palms down to lift you up and into Warrior Two on the left leg. Now a moment to take your stance here to adjust the legs if you need to. Just explore this bend through the front knee. And where you start to feel that edge, wake up a little bit through the legs. Make sure your shoulders are soft here, so you're not holding the weight of the body or any discomfort you feel in the shoulders rising. It's relaxing down. And a bit like you may be feeling, you're looking at a blocked upstream. It's feeling that sensation, but still keeping steady. Steady breath. Steady feet. So easy to get pulled by sensation. React then. Sucked into different currents, as it were. Wherever our perception maybe guides us. One perception is just one perception. There's so many other perceptions one could kind of find within the mind. It's almost like we're opening up each of these different perceptions to kind of see the bigger picture, the whole in a way from which they arise. In breath, into reverse warrior, left palm lifts up, right hand to the back leg. And then we're coming to this dancing movement. Left arm comes to rest on the left thigh. And the right arm lifts up and over. We'll do that a couple of times. Keep that bend through the left knee. So it can be quite a challenge to just steady the body, steady the mind to move slowly with mindfulness. We keep softening into your movement, and feeling the body. We come to rest in the side stretch. Come that little bit lower. It feels right to you. And then the left hand can either remain there for the next breath, whilst you can slide it down, maybe on a block, the big toe edge of the front foot. Feeling the body here, another breath. And then right hand will come down. And we rotate the back foot, framing the front foot now and sinking down the back knee to come into Anjaneyasana. I'm keeping my toes tucked under today, but you can have the foot flat if you prefer. We'll lift up through the chest in our low lunge, letting our weight settle downwards. Then opening up this seam across the legs a little bit more, we're turning this right leg so it's now perpendicular with the long edge of the mat. It's crossing the mat on the short edge. Left hand to the big toe edge of the front foot. And then just a few breaths to explore here this seam. You'll find if you kind of ease the weight forwards, it will open up the seam a little bit more acutely. So find an edge you're kind of comfortable with, where you're feeling sensation. And we'll lift the right arm up and over. Else you can just rest it on the floor as a plot. Take the right arm down. And then we'll take both hands here. When we turn the back foot in, we're going to plant it on the floor. So we're coming again into our stance for warrior two. Take the arms out to the sides, palms down, anchor down to right back up into warrior two. Now windscreen wipers, they're going to come the other way now. So this time they're coming over the top of the body, shoulders, and then they're opening out to the side. Pause with the fingers touching the shoulders. Rotate the toes in so they're parallel with one another. Breathe in and stretch up through the arms. We'll breathe out with that little bend through the knees. Take us into a forward fold. And once we're there again, I'd like us to again kind of feel that opening through the seam, shifting weight from one side over to the other. Then from one side to the other. Taking your hands to the midline now. We come into a wide leg twist, right arm lifting up. Left hand's directly below your face, more or less, when you turn down. Right hand will come down. Put the right hand down. Left arm will lift up. Left hand coming down, the same on the other side. Both sides again. Right arm up. And right hand coming down. Left arm up. The left hand will come down now. And either go to your left foot or your right foot, framing that foot, and then stepping back into down dog. And a little bit of releasing now in your down dog, a bit of bend through the knees, a little bouncing through the feet. See if you can find the bounce, traveling all the way up the legs into the lower spine. And take a few cleansing breaths in through the mouth. We'll take one more. We're slowing everything down to bring the knees to the mat. And breathing out, we'll come back to sit on the heels. So if you're comfortable in kneeling now, we'll just take a moment here. Otherwise, come and take a seat, any other seat that you'd prefer to. Going to bring the hands up to the heart level now, the palms facing down. And here we're just twisting from side to side, opening up a little bit of space into the heart and the chest. Anything that we may have released down in the pelvis, the hips. It's encouraging now. A few pathways to open so that can flow upwards. So we feel it in the heart. And then as we feel it in the heart, it is. There's no need to hold it anymore in the body. Felt can transmute and take shape in another form. That's really the loveliest bit of the practice. We kind of feel any discomfort, ever level, real authenticity, intimately, as it were, within the body, within the mind. We know it, but we're not resisting it. And we don't need to kind of cling on to it, as it were. We don't need to bury it within us. And then actually, I suppose, having the courage in a way, the patience, the compassion to be present with ourselves. Well, that's what we're cultivating in that space. It's almost like, you know, the water will flow into any space that is available, into any vacuum. And so too, we kind of create space then within our mind. It's less tied up in knots, as it were. Well, then our vitality will flow into those areas, just pure, fresh vitality, and beautiful qualities that we all hope to find in life. I will slow that down a little bit now. And hands on the knees. We're going to take the legs out in front of us. We're going to arrive onto the mat now, and we're going to roll down and hug the knees into the chest. Just give ourselves a couple of breaths here, rocking from side to side. Find your center point. We've come from here into happy baby. So you can catch hold of the outer edges of the feet. Take them wide. You may prefer to catch around the back of the legs. We'll just all take a few rounds of breath there. Feel the back of the body breathing against the earth. Then we'll bring the knees into the center line again and releasing the feet. From here, we'll take the legs up towards the ceiling now. You can flex the legs there. Then hands up the base of the spine. Gently ease your pelvis up. And so your legs are coming out behind you. We're looking to arrive in a bridge here. And keep your hands as support on the small of the back. You may want to keep just, the feet lifted up if it feels too intense on the backs of the legs. You may want to still keep the pelvis down on the mat. We'll take a few breaths here, stretching out. If you're comfortable in bridge, you could stretch the arms out behind you and just shuffle up onto the shoulder. Maybe take your hands into a fist then. Encourage a bit of opening into the spine, the upper back.
I think the clouds are lovely asana to do in winter time. It's almost like the metaphor of the plough. You're kind of uncovering the earth, tilling the earth, and anything that needs to be broken down, as it were, broken up into fine earth, ready for new growth. The winter's a beautiful time to do that, really, to look inwards a bit, recalibrate, reset ourselves, and let the earth rest within us at the start of the year. Then we really have strong roots, as it were, to be able to harness our energy. Next breath, support the lower spine. You start to roll out of your twin, out of your plough, and take the feet down. And lowering them down to the mat, but plant them hips width apart from one another. Hands down to the sides of the body. And breathing in, we'll lift the spine up into a gentle bridge. It's like you're swinging your spine in a hammock here. Feel the support of the feet. We lower down. And pelvis to the mat. You can roll it forwards and backwards a few times. It's like you're massaging the lower spine on the mat. And you may want to come for another round into a back bend, into your bridge. So we lift up, shuffle the shoulders underneath us, and hands either by the sides of the body, or else you can bring the arms together, interlace fingers. Feel like there's a magnet between your inner thighs and your knees. They're kind of drawing towards one another, rather than apart from one another. Next breath, release the arms and start to lower the spine down. Arms now out into a T shape, and the feet can come together now, and the knees. And we'll drop them over to the right hand side into an easy twist. We'll take the gaze towards the left arm. Knees back to your center line and over to the left side, and the gaze will come towards the right. Right back to your center line. We'll just hug the knees into the chest before we come into Shavasana. And once you're in your huggy knee position, then just rock on one side of the spine to the other. Then from here, we'll drop the feet down, we'll stretch the legs out. Rest the hands on the belly for a moment. And either keeping the hands on the belly or opening them out to either sides of the body. Coming into Shavasana. Few moments. And all you need to do here is just be, allowing yourself this time to rest. Allowing your body settle into its own rhythm. Energy to find its own balance. Letting yourself, giving yourself permission to put down thoughts. It's a simple noting word, thinking, planning, daydreaming, or whatever kind of flavor the fourth sound can help to re-anchor you and put those thoughts into context, an object, mind. If you'd like to stay longer in your Shavasana, then do feel free to do so. Otherwise, in your own time, start to bring a little movement into your body. And from that little movement, you can bend knees and take a few resting breaths to one side of the body. And then we'll all find our way up and into sitting. And so we arrive in sitting, keep the gaze soft to allow your eyes to shut here. And as we started, a moment to be present to the body. Feel the simplicity of our breath and the comfort, sanctuary of resting in our breath. As the mind settles, the heart calms. This space opens, resting in the heart. Tranquility, joy, an untroubled heart. Bringing hands to the heart and into prayer. And however you like to close your practice, here at the heart, bowing forwards to greet your inner guide and wisdom. And then as water flows, lifting up again, breathing in, letting your practice flow from you out into the space around you. Namaste.